You don't look good," Harriet remarked as she opened the door and looked at her friend. "I don't feel well," Sandra responded. "So what's going on?" Harriet asked. Slowly Sandra began to bring Harriet up to speed. She told her everything, from walking in on her daughter to the conversation afterwards. She even was able to talk about her feelings on the matter. Harriet listened carefully to her friend's story. When Sandra finished, Harriet spoke quietly. "First and foremost, you did nothing wrong. Teen babies, or infantilists, are more common than you think. Nobody knows what causes someone to be this way. It just is." "But what do I do now?" Sandra asked. "That depends on what you want," Harriet answered. "I just want it to go away," Sandra responded. "Well, it won't just go away. But you can make it go away if you want," Harriet said. "How?" was the only words that Sandra could get out. "Simple," Harriet responded. "Give her what she wants, but on your terms." "What do you mean?" Sandra inquired. "Teen babies want to be a baby for real," Harriet said. "What I would do is make her a baby for the summer. The whole thing. By the end of summer she will be so sick of it that she will be begging to be a big girl for the rest of her life." "I'm not sure I can do that," Sandra replayed. "Sure you can. It's no different than taking care of a real baby. Everything is just bigger. I would add one thing to it," Harriet said matter of fact. "I would require her to come here and see me once a week." "Why?" Sandra asked. "I can monitor her mental health and give her a place to complain about being treated like a baby after the newness wears off." Sandra thought long and hard about what Harriet had been saying. It could work. She was not sure that she was looking forward to spending the summer changing diapers, but the reset of it sounded like the perfect way to deal with it. After all, if she had been caught smoking, Sandra would have made her finish a whole pack. Just one thing bothered her. "What if this doesn't work?" Sandra asked her friend. "First off, it will work. Second off, with the therapy that she will be getting from me, she will want to give up being a baby for sure," Harriet answered. After a moment of contemplation, Sandra stood up and announced, "I'll do it." "Good. Have her in my office next Friday. We will start therapy then," Harriet said as she shook her friend's hand. "And good luck." "Thank you," Sandra said as she walked out of the room. She had some shopping to do before Lizzie got home from school today. Sandra left her friend's office and headed straight to the store. There she picked up everything she thought she might need for the summer. She picked up a couple of bottles and a couple of pacifiers. She picked up 3 big cans of formula, and of course she picked up a couple of bags of diapers. Soon she was arriving home. She was somewhat surprised to see her daughter home already. Lizzie was laying out on the front lawn sunbathing. Sandra put her purchases away and then went to her daughter. "Hi, Mother," Lizzie said as Sandra came into view. "What's up?" "Nothing much. You're home early," Sandra responded. "Half day," Lizzie said. "Well, I need to talk to you," Sandra said matter of fact. Lizzie sat up and looked at her mother. "So talk, I have been thinking about what you said last night." "Oh, that," Lizzie said, remembering the night before. She had hoped her mother would have forgotten about it. "Lizzie," Sandra started. "I have been thinking, and if being a baby is what you want, then being a baby you should have." Lizzie looked at her mother with a surprised look on her face. "What do you mean?" "If you want to be a baby, then I am willing to let you be one. For the summer," Sandra told her daughter. "I see," Lizzie said with a hint of uncertainty in her voice. "Now there are 2 conditions that I must insist on," Sandra said. "First and foremost, if that's what you want, it must last all summer. There is no changing your mind after a week or 2. Lizzie just looked at her mother. Could this really be happening? It would be a dream come true. Lizzie simply nodded her head. And second, you must have weekly therapy sessions with Harriet. Sandra continued. Why? Lizzie asked. It's one of my conditions, was all Sandra said. So the question to you is, do you want to be a baby or not? Lizzie stared at her mother for a moment. She was still trying to figure out if her mother was kidding or not. After a minute of silence, Lizzie spoke from her heart. More than anything. Then come with me, Sandra said. Both of them got up and walked into the house. They walked upstairs and into Lizzie's room. Lizzie was shocked to see the bags of diapers on her bed. Lay down, Sandra commanded. Lizzie sat down on her bed. Sandra grabbed a diaper out one of the bags of diapers and quickly put her daughter back into diapers. Lizzie lay on her bed in bliss. She was finally getting what her heart had always wanted. The only thing that bothered her was the thought of talking with Harriet about this. Sandra looked at her daughter and smiled. This was going to be fun on some levels. After finishing getting Lizzie back in diapers, Sandra put a pacifier in her mouth and left the room. Lizzie sucked the pacifier and smiled. She was a baby at last.